Want to hear something wacky? There are legal adults who weren't around to see a time where video games didn't have DLC. DLC, what was once the three most disgusting letters in the world of gaming, is now just a minor inconvenience, and the new three worst letters in the world of gaming are much, much worse. Now, back when DLC really started to get included into just about every single gaming franchise that I loved, let me tell you, I was what you'd call a tad peeved. Nowadays, I just don't care that much. As long as it's not content literally ripped from the game just to be resold to you later, I'm mostly cool with it. Maybe it's because in recent years, I've just become more complacent to the DLC practices, both fair and predatory, being forced down our throats for so many years, to the point where we are to blame for the state of modern AAA gaming by not putting our foot down, which will no doubt lead to the collapse of the industry as we know it. One second. I live another day. But yeah, I'm more forgiving of DLC these days, because over the years, we've been getting some great pieces of DLC for games that in some cases are almost required to be part of these games. I'm talking about the Mass Effects, the Fallouts, well, not those two, Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, Witcher 3, but of course, for every Mass Effect 3 Citadel DLC, we get Modern Warfare 3. Alright, just had to make my daily quota of making fun of modern Call of Duty games. At the end of the day, I think the DLC that I can tolerate the most is fighting game DLC, weirdly enough. To me, most fighting games in recent years feel like they have full starting rosters. Most games. We still get a few here and there where we say, wait, that's it? So for most games that actually have some decent starting rosters, the DLC just feels like the cherry on top. Granted, it's not all great. Let's look at Mortal Kombat 9. See that? You can't buy it anymore because they decided to add Freddy Krueger. Not even the cool Freddy Krueger, the lame one for the remake. Yeah, while the idea of adding new fighters to a game typically revolves around bringing back old favorites that haven't been here in a while and upgrading them, plenty of games have been adding third-party characters, and that's called playing with fire. Because to get those characters in the game, you gotta get some licenses from the IP holders, and some of them might actually allow you to have the license only for a few years, and then you'll either have to pay up to renew it, or delist your game. Now, this isn't a problem for Smash Brothers though, because by the time Disney comes to knock and say, "Oh, hey Nintendo, you better pay up to keep Sora or take Smash Ultimate off your eShop," Nintendo will just say, "What eShop?" They've done that 3 times now. Oh hey, Super Smash Brothers! I love that series. I mean, of course I love it. I'm a Nintendo fan making YouTube videos. It's basically a negative stereotype to love Smash Brothers. I figure I'll just talk about Smash Brothers DLC fighters since, well, we're on the topic. I think I'll just rank them in order of my preference. I say my preference because when you look at these characters, a lot of people who are really good at the game can tell you that some of these guys have absolutely killed the game at one point or another. So, what about me? Am I really good at this game? And what's worse that could happen? No! So, my rankings and critiques are primarily going to be superficial bullshit like, honestly, I just think female Byleth is pretty. So here we go. Super Smash Bros. DLC, baby! Starting off with Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, aka the ones that you're justified for never playing. Not a bad game, but if you were just getting a Wii U for Smash Bros., even I could tell you that's a waste of money. This was the first game to add DLC to the mix that you can't buy anymore, so don't even bother playing this anymore. So the first ever DLC character for Smash Brothers was perfection. Okay, so I want to toss this out there. Mewtwo is not particularly a great character. At least according to the tier list, he isn't. But for anyone who played Melee, Mewtwo was special. Every other character in this game, you basically unlock them in your sleep. And then there was Mewtwo, a character where, after getting the game as a kid, I only heard rumors of at school. Someone said they heard that Mewtwo was in the game, but no one could ever show proof. Again, this is before everyone and their mom had the power of the internet in their pockets. Luckily, I had two next door neighbors who wanted to come over and play Melee every day after school, so after a few weeks of owning this game, I got him. Mewtwo. Such a hype moment. I remember seeing his silhouette show up right after completing a fight and just looking at him going, "There he is, boys!" And I lost the fight. So then we played another match, and I jumped up saying, "There he is, boys!" And that time I actually won. I played Mewtwo all the time thinking he was the best character in the game due to the difficulty of unlocking him. Again, high D tier. He's only 2 notches above Pichu. That's sad. But like I said, it's not about how good he is, but what he represents, and to the majority of Smash players who were getting excited for Brawl, seeing that Mewtwo was replaced by Lucario was upsetting. So seeing Mewtwo back and finding out that you don't even have to pay for him. All you have to do is buy Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS and register both your copies on Club Nintendo and you get the character for free. That's a deal! Wait, that's no deal. That's just buying 2 games. Well, at least he's an A tier in Smash 4. I guess when you actually have to pay an extra $8, they make sure Mewtwo is actually pretty good. The next DLC is disappointment. So, full disclosure here, I don't hate Earthbound. I do actually want to sit down and play these games eventually. You know, the first 2, I can't play the third one legally. But I was never a fan of playing as Ness. The playstyle of the Earthbound characters requires a little more effort. PK Thunder is a recovery route move that I have actually saved myself with maybe 5 times after 20 years. Then Lucas came around, and seeing as how I jumped right into Subspace Emissary on release day, and my first impression of Lucas was him being a total bitch, yeah, I'm not a fan of him. What fucking coward. But he's not disappointing because I don't like him. No, not at all. It's disappointing because he was just cut from Brawl and then immediately resold to you as DLC in the next game. That's fucked. This is different from the Mewtwo situation. With Mewtwo, he was weirdly enough the only non-clone character cut for Brawl. Hell, I don't even think he was even considered to be in Brawl in the first place. With Mewtwo, he hadn't been in a game in over a decade. With Lucas, he was just here. But yeah, he's Lucas. He's like Ness. But people like him better because he's from the Forbidden Fruit known as Mother 3, where no one outside of Japan is legally allowed to experience it. Also, I don't like his rendition of PK Fire. PK Fire is an annoying move, but it's just always been there in Smash Bros. Lucas's PK Fire is lame. I get that they need to put some differences between him and Ness, but this just makes him a lesser character. Oh hey, I've been saved by PK Thunder 6 times now in my life. Swell. Next up is Starboy. No, I don't actually like Roy in Melee. It's just that Roy's Our Boy has been playing rent-free in my head for over 20 years. But again, this doesn't hurt as bad as Lucas' situation because it's not like the Lucas situation at all. This is a Mewtwo situation again. Roy was cut from Brawl because, well, let's be honest. Roy was just included to advertise a game that wasn't even out yet. His Fire Emblem game is one of the least impactful games in the series. Roy himself is one of the least popular main characters in the series to the point where his father is more beloved than he is. Fire Emblem and Smash Brothers just have a weird relationship, so by the time Ike showed up, Roy just never had a chance of appearing in Brawl. And no one minded, because at least Ike changed up the formula. But then by the time Smash 4 came out, Roy was officially nostalgic. I actually do like Roy though in this game. Again, not a good Smash player, so when I'm playing casually with friends, I just like running up to my enemies and hitting them with the hilt of the sword, because Roy's only really viable when he hits someone with the base of his sword and not the blade itself. Kinda defeats the purpose of fighting with a sword, but hey, I guess that's why he was replaced with Ike in the first place. but he gets point stocked because his final smash is just Marth's. Up next is, what the fuck? Hey, so this is the exact moment that made me go, hey, I should buy a Wii U. Ryu from Street Fighter. I love Street Fighter. Am I any good at Street Fighter? Of course not. Man, nothing got me more pumped than seeing Ryu being released for Smash 4. Also, did I have mentioned that I barely ever played as him? Yeah, it sounds really stupid for me to get hyped up for him like that, but I just never really vibed with him in this game. Yeah, it's cool seeing Ryu being the shit out of Pikachu, but other than that, not really a big fan. Also, his Hadouken isn't really spammable in this, so that's going to cost some points. You know who I was a fan of, though? Cloud Strife. I just finally got past the Midgar section of Final Fantasy VII. But I did watch Final Fantasy VII Advent Children back in 2008 or so, because my sister assumed I was a big fan of Final Fantasy, despite the fact that she should have known we never owned a copy of Final Fantasy VII. So after playing about 5 hours of Final Fantasy VII and watching the Final Fantasy VII sequel film, I still have no idea who this guy is. His amiibo's cool though. But he's overpowered, and playing as him made me feel like I was finally one of the good players online. That's all I had back then, shut the fuck up. I just want to say that I believe Cloud is where the era of third-party characters in Smash truly began. Yeah, Snake was the first third-party character, but Kojima basically begged for him to be included in Brawl. Sonic was a character where it would have been more surprising if he didn't show up in Brawl, just because Sega was trying to play nice with everyone. Mega Man? Probably wasn't too hard to get him in Smash Wii U, just because Capcom will license their characters out to anybody as long as it leads to an easy paycheck. And then there's Cloud. Granted, now with Nintendo being the richest company in Japan in recent years, I can see Square Enix throwing all their characters at Sakurai, just for the bragging rights of having their characters in Smash. But this was during a time where Nintendo's reputation was at an all-time low, where people were expecting them to go under and go third-party any day now. I would love to be a fly on the wall during those meetings, because I can imagine Square Enix laughing when they heard Sakurai say he wanted Cloud fucking Strife in Smash Bros. For the Wii U, only changing their tune when Nintendo started adding a few extra zeros to that check. But seriously though, Cloud is one of my favorite Smash Bros. Characters ever. I imagine if I actually got fully invested into Final Fantasy VII, I'd be drooling all over all the references squeezed into this character. But alas, I just like building up Cloud's limit meter and just destroying everyone in my way, and in the end, what else do you really need? Hey, remember when I said Fire Emblem and Smash Bros. Have a weird relationship? Corrin. After bringing in such iconic characters like Ryu and Cloud, and bringing back fan favorites like Mewtwo and Lucas, and okay fine, Roy counts too. The most mature thought I had at the time was that Smash should cool their jets after these releases. While it would be cool if immediately after this Sakurai just came up on stage and said, "Fuck you, we have Kratos, Master Chief, and Goku, peace out," it is important to temper expectations. Look at Smash Bros. Ultimate. I don't blame Sakurai if he never wants to make another Smash Bros. Game again, because how do you follow this? So after Cloud came out, Smash needed something a little lower profile just to keep expectations in check. Corrin. Jesus, I said lower profile. By that I meant someone that people would like, but the internet wouldn't explode for, like Knuckles. Either Intelligent Systems has some really juicy dirt on Sakurai, or Sakurai just really loves Fire Emblem. Either way, it's our problem. Again, going all the way back to Roy, a character that, for all intents and purposes, is technically a Smash Bros. Character first and a Fire Emblem character second. Corrin isn't as egregious, because Fire Emblem Fates had been released in Japan by the time he was revealed for Smash. But for the rest of the world, however, say hi to Corrin. This is such a flaccid reveal in all honesty, at least when Robin and Lucina were revealed for Smash 4. By that point, Fire Emblem Awakening had earned its place in our hearts as one of, if not the best Fire Emblem games, and said characters have gone on to become some of the most beloved characters in the franchise. Hell, there were people who saw Robin and Lucina get added to the game getting upset that Chrom got the shaft. Chrom! Then there's Corrin, a character who Nintendo themselves didn't even know was going to be an icon or not. Yeah, granted, Jigglypuff is a character in the Smash Bros. Games, and no one has ever played the original Pokemon games and said, "Now that's a true Nintendo All-Star right there." So you can argue that the series was never about Nintendo All-Stars in the first place. despite all these complaints. Corrin's actually pretty fun to play. You're not just Marth with a different outfit, but I guess if they're gonna make us pay extra for a new Fire Emblem character, they'll at least make them a little more unique than this. Definitely not in my top 10 though. And our final piece of DLC for Smash Bros. 4. Bayonetta. Now of course my donkey brain sees this character and just goes, ooh, sexy character, 10 out of 10. Jeez, did she push that E10 rating or what? But I stopped playing Smash 4 online a few months after Bayonetta came out, so what does the rest of the community think about her? Yep, nearly every mechanic revolving around Bayonetta was utterly broken and resulted in her being the end of all things. You can tell by my gameplay though, since while I can play Bayonetta decently, I'm not exactly unlocking her overpowered goodness here. I mean, look at her recovery. That's not a recovery, that's the game literally throwing her a life jacket and pushing everyone else over. Now I'm going to refrain from saying anything else because I'm pretty sure anyone who genuinely liked Smash 4 are having traumatic flashbacks, and I don't want to potentially say anything positive about her and be destroyed by the community at large. So that's all of Smash 4's DLC. I mean, there's also some Mii costumes, but I never bought a single one of them. Too late now! So I'll go ahead and rank the DLC fighters. Bayonetta is all the way at the bottom because, again, I like being alive and I'm pretty sure someone will end me if I put her anywhere else. Lucas is also at the bottom just because either he should have been kept in the game or just cut out until Ultimate. Cutting him out just to sell him back to us was pretty stinky. Roy is right above them because while I like Roy, I wasn't exactly clamoring for him back. Ryu's up next because I don't like playing as him, but his iconic status keeps him above goddamn Roy. Corrin. Then there's Cloud because he's overpowered without him being an unstoppable force of destruction that completely ruins the game. Bayonetta. He's also the most iconic character out of this bunch, so yeah, he gets up here. Then of course Mewtwo is up at the top just because he's got the hype factor that I mentioned earlier, and he's actually pretty good in this game. He's actually A tier in Smash 4. Well, unfortunately, he's back to D tier in Ultimate. Sorry Mewtwo fans, he sucks again. Like I said, very superficial reasons for my rankings, but what do you expect? I'm a bitch. Up next is Ultimate. Now, Smash Ultimate is different for me, because when Smash 4 was in development, the Wii U meant nothing to me. I was dead set on never getting this console. But for Smash Ultimate, I had a Switch pretty damn early. Not much to play, but once March 2018 came around, I had something to look forward to. I didn't get a Wii U until after Ryu was revealed to the world, so by that point, all I really had to look forward to was Cloud, a character from a game I had never played, and a movie I don't understand. Corrin, a character from a game no one actually played at the time. And then there's Bayonetta. But we all remember that amazing reveal trailer where they basically just showed off every character from past games were returning. I don't have big reactions to trailers or any real physical reactions to them. I know, I'm boring. But when they were showing off past DLC characters as part of the base game, I got just a tad excited. You see, it doesn't happen often, but I hate it when the same characters end up as DLC several times in a row. I'm looking at you, Mortal Kombat, making Shang Tsung DLC 2 times in a row. When the reveal came and said, everyone is here, they meant everyone, as in all the DLC fighters from before. So naturally, the DLC for this game would need brand new fighters this time around, and let me tell you, I was pumped. So first off, Piranha Plant. He was revealed in the final presentation for Ultimate with the ultimate cock tease of a reveal trailer. Honestly, I love this stupid thing. Never before did I ever think that this guy would be a Smash Bro. Again, if Corrin could get in, anyone can, but at least the Piranha Plant has technically been included in more games. Is he actually a good character though? Well, I don't have much experience with him, but the greater community says, oh fuck no. He's the only DLC fighter that's pretty low on the tier list, and you'll soon find out that's pretty rare. The next fighter was the only revealed trailer I didn't watch live, as I was standing in line waiting for Smash Ultimate at GameStop because I just really wanted to waste my night at GameStop apparently. Anyways, the Game Awards that night were playing, and I wasn't gonna watch the Game Awards, but someone else did in line and at GameStop and just shouted, oh shit, Joker's in Smash! Of course, someone else just shouted, the guy from DC? And of course, the person watching it said, no, from Persona. Ironically though, Mortal Kombat 11, which was announced at the same show, also released Joker as DLC. And I just sat there and I thought, sweet, who's Joker? Another disclaimer, I have never played a Persona game. After hearing my friends talk about them and talk about how massive and long they are, I can tell you that I will never play a Persona game. That being said, I just like how Persona went from that game where finding copies of past games was going to cost you a pretty penny because the company behind them just really liked producing as few copies as possible. And they didn't sell well in the first place, so there's even fewer copies. Then one day out of nowhere, it just became a series where the games are being enjoyed by millions and new Persona releases are actually big deals now. Again, never gonna play them though. All I can say about Joker is he oozes love and respect from Sakurai and his team. Shit son, this guy's getting treatment that you'd expect the fellas who have been here since the beginning would be getting. Maybe this is why I just really like Smash Bros. DLC. While other companies would just give you the bare minimum with their DLC, Sakurai said, these guys already paid $60, if we want them to pay more, we'll give them their money's worth. Joker is just stupid fun to play with. Hell, his neutral special is just a gun. Not a blaster, not a laser, not some comically over-designed gun, but just a standard 9mm. Hell, he even gets his own victory screen if he wins a match with his final smash. Up next is Hero. I remember hearing a rumor that they were going to introduce a Dragon Quest character. Don't remember his name, but I also haven't played a Dragon Quest game, and I highly doubt I ever will. Then this trailer comes out, and instead, they just call him Hero, because instead of just calling him the Luminary, as I heard people calling the main dude right here, he instead comprises of several popular Dragon Quest characters. Now when people ask for Goku in Smash, we can say, we don't need Goku, this is close enough. Alright, so, like I said, I don't play Dragon Quest. After playing Hero, with the exception of the fact that he has a random chance of blowing himself up, I'm not a fan of playing as him. I played as Hero for a grand total of 2 matches. The most I've actually played of him is now, when I'm getting this footage. His gimmick moves are just a little too fast-paced for my slow-paced brain to use properly in battle. So I'll just say this. Hero is one of the many reasons as to why Smash Bros. Is so great in the first place. So there are 3 people who play Smash Bros. The people who get excited when another anime swordsman gets introduced, people who are legitimately mad that Waluigi and Crash Bandicoot aren't in this game, and then the third person is that weird fuck that's both of those things combined. I remember when Hero was revealed, people were pissed. I get it, the first DLC character was some anime guy, then the next DLC is more anime guy. Not only that, over here, Dragon Quest still hasn't gotten the respect it has in Japan. So, I get why people were upset in the Western world, because speaking of Japan, holy shit Dragon Quest. I get that sometimes it's rare for video games to be released on any other day besides a Friday, but over in Japan, Dragon Quest is taken so seriously that they make sure that no matter what, this game is released on a Saturday, because they know that if they release a game on a Friday, the entire country's economy would collapse due to every gamer over there taking the day off from work. Dragon Quest may not be a big deal to you, but in Japan, these guys may very well be rock stars of the gaming world and deserve to be here. But yeah, but don't have too much to say about him in gameplay wise, because too many of his best moves are just a little too tricky for dumb me to use it properly in battle. Except for the Kamikaze. Up next is the character that made all the people who hate the anime swordsman in the live chat of the Nintendo Direct change their minds of said Direct being the worst thing ever. Banjo-Kazooie. So I'm not what you'd call a Banjo-Kazooie mega fan. I like the first game. I've played the first game. You know, I'll just go and change that like to something more positive like, I think this game is pretty damn swell. Now I saw the reveal for Banjo and said, those sons of bitches did it! I was so excited for Banjo to be in Smash Bros. Even though again, I wouldn't call myself a huge Banjo-Kazooie fanboy. That being said, I don't like playing as him. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, so I'll just say, the vibes are off, bro. He's probably my least favorite DLC character. Now, I'm not saying he's the worst character, because when I judge DLC fighters, I judge them with the simple idea, hype and release. I was not excited for Joker. I never played Persona. But when he came out, I thought he was a lot of fun and I enjoyed playing as him. Hero? I was not excited for him. After all, I'm not really a Dragon Quest guy. And after playing as him, This is not selling Dragon Quest to me. Then there's Banjo. I was really excited for him, and I don't like playing as him. His moveset is built from the ground up to have as many references to the Banjo games that it'll subliminally tell every Banjo fan to say, "Oh hell yeah, brother." But I don't like playing as him, and I hate to say that. You know who I don't hate playing as? Terry. I'm a wannabe Neo Geo fanboy. I have the utmost appreciation for these games, but I would only get into Neo Geo AES collecting is if I won the lottery. After it was leaked that an SNK character would be coming to Smash Bros, I was so excited for the concept. But I have no idea who any of these characters are. Terry is my favorite surprise because I loved watching Sakurai Presents, where he talked about Terry, Fatal Fury, King of Fighters, and Neo Geo with such gusto that I could only sit there and say, wow, now that's what a real Neo Geo fan looks like. I need to step up my game. I wasn't a fan of Ryu in Smash, so honestly, I thought I would think the same about Terry. Turns out, I'm a weird bitch and I love him. Also, he has the hero factor about him, where it's cool to see him in the game just because Fatal Fury and King of Fighters are huge in Mexico and South America, so it's really cool seeing characters that are bigger in other cultures than your own getting the spotlight. Up next is... oh fuck. Oh shit. Oh fucking shit. Alright, let me tell you why I'm disappointed with the Byleth reveal. In the months leading up to Byleth's reveal, with everyone proclaiming that they knew who was going to be the final fighter of the DLC pack, I saw some news sites claiming that they know who the fighter was because they found the audio of the fighter's reveal that would be played at the Game Awards. And that fighter was Master Chief. Now, I'm not mad because I believe this. In fact, I confidently said that this was fake because this supposedly real audio just starts with Cortana saying, "Hey yo Chief, they want you to be in Smash Bros. LOL," or something that blunt and direct. I said that had to be fake because seeing how Sakurai and his team had been revealing Smash Bros. Characters since Ultimate began its publicity circuit, that every reveal has you guessing until the last possible second, and even when it's very obviously who it's gonna be, like Ridley, King K. Rool, or Terry, they still make you sit there in anticipation for that big reveal with the splash screen, with some cool reference or pun. If Master Chief, the face of Xbox, made his way to Smash Ultimate, there would be no way in hell they'd do anything except build up the reveal. Maybe with something like Samus and Fox and other characters that take place in a sci-fi space venturing franchise fighting aliens before Master Chief jumps into battle. I was sure this was fake because Sakurai would never sit there and go, "Byleth is in Super Smash Bros." and act like there's no anticipation for it. But that's exactly what happened. The trailer began, here's Byleth, boom, the crowd goes mild. So I like Fire Emblem, but man, you'll be hard pressed to find anyone who's okay with this reveal. Let's list the reasons. Again, the reveal had no oomph to it. They just got it out of the way, like even the team said, shit, we're putting Byleth into this game? The fighter pack was filled with nothing but third-party characters, and the fighter pass, again, needed to temper expectations, and at least give us a first-party Nintendo character. But did it have to be another Fire Emblem character? And on that same note, did it have to be Byleth? Okay, Fire Emblem Three Houses was the best-selling Fire Emblem game ever. Sure, the game was actually available for half a year before Byleth came out. I'm looking at you, Corin. But Byleth? No one that has anything good to say about Three Houses attributes Byleth to the reasons for why the game is good. Hell, Byleth is overshadowed by just about every other character in this game. It's just another situation where you're just hoping that Sakurai is the biggest Fire Emblem fan ever, because any other scenario for why Fire Emblem gets the red carpet during these fighter passes is just depressing to think about. I remember someone claiming that the final fighter would be of one of the starter Pokemon from Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's weird for me to say that I'd prefer that over this. Anyways, enough ranting about Byleth. Let's list the positives. Well, to quote myself from earlier in the video, honestly, I just think female Byleth is pretty. Okay, now I do like how they try to mix things up with Byleth's moveset, yet I don't like it because I just hate how all of Byleth's specials just have too much build up to them. Unless you're fighting the lowest level CPU, or you're fighting me, you'll never find anyone who sees a Byleth attacking and says anything other than, "Oh look, here comes a side special." I'll just casually walk out of the way. It's a shame that the only Fire Emblem characters who get to do anything but a Marth clone are saved for DLC. Well, that's Fighter Pass 1. Mixed bag right here. To be fair, I thought I was more positive about the first Fighter Pass until I actually started writing this, so that's a little disappointing for me. So I'll just rank them now. Piranha Plant isn't technically part of the pass, so he's technically not part of this list. Bottom is Byleth, for obvious reasons. Up next is regrettably Banjo. Then Hero, because again, I only like the Kamikaze. Joker is the second best, not because there's anything bad with him, but because I just really like Terry Bogard in this game. You know what's funny? They must have known that Byleth would have been the most flaccid reveal ever, so they immediately announced a Fighter Pass 2 so they could soften the blow of the inevitable shitstorm following this reveal. Only to instead announce an even more flaccid reveal by revealing in a Nintendo Direct that the first character in the next Fighters Pass would be an ARMS character to be revealed at a later date. Then, later date ended up being 3 months later. Okay, first, I get it. They revealed this little tidbit of information before the world shut down for nearly a year. But still, why would you go into a Nintendo Direct and say, hey, we're announcing an announcement to be announced later this year? Announcement. You're just begging for that overused YouTuber joke where said YouTuber gets shot for saying something stupid. Sure, maybe it was to give us something to look forward to since this news was given just days after the United States ended up being the next country to lock down for the time being. But even then, ARMS! So let me talk about ARMS for about 20 seconds, since 20 seconds is all Nintendo gave ARMS after it released. Ahem. ARMS is the biggest disappointment Nintendo has ever brought us in recent years. Early title for the Switch, so seeing that the Switch had like 2 games at launch, people were in the mood to just grab just about any game that came out for the Switch. The game sold really well, it revealed well, but the content just wasn't there. It was intended to be the next Splatoon, but the Splatoon games at least received enough support from Nintendo to keep it alive long enough for it to become one of Nintendo's big boy franchises. ARMS was fun, but got a small drip feed of content, and Nintendo said, well, we tried, and abandoned it. 7 years later, this is all ARMS is. Now I imagine the second I post this, Nintendo will announce an ARMS 2, which will be the game that saves the formula and turns it into a big franchise, which will make me look like a total bitch. But I'll be real, ARMS 2 is probably never happening, which is just going to make Min Min's inclusion in this game look even sillier. At least in Captain Falcon's case, during the time the first Smash Bros. Came out, F-Zero was taken pretty seriously by Nintendo. Which is just funnier because Min Min's reveal trailer featured Captain Falcon, where apparently the sound of him slurping ramen noodles was the first time they've had Captain Falcon's voice actor in the studio in like 15 years or so. At least F-099 gave Captain Falcon a few more minutes of fame. Anyways, never really played as Min Min. Didn't buy the Fighter Pass until the next fighter was revealed, so when I got it, I didn't exactly play as her. Speaking of, the next fighter is Steve. Really goes to show the state of Halo today when Nintendo and Microsoft agreed that Steve should be the big Microsoft third-party character and not Master Chief. Steve was a character that I always worried about, because, well, I played Minecraft and I said, how do you make this work in Smash Brothers? Then I played as Steve in Smash Brothers and I said, oh hey, that's how they did it. I would say Steve's my favorite to play right now because, look at him, they didn't compromise anything about him to make him fit in with the rest of the roster. This is pure, unadulterated Minecraft Steve. I said he would be my favorite because this is all the positive stuff I'm going to say about Steve because I have no idea how the rest of the community thinks about him. Worse than Bayonetta, apparently. And the award for the best fighter reveal trailer goes to Sephiroth. I mean, come on, look at this shit. As someone who has literally only gotten up to the point where you start learning about Sephiroth's story in Final Fantasy VII, I have no idea what this guy is all about. But boy howdy, the music is great, he plays well, he's not horribly overpowered, he's shirtless, and Cloud gets a unique variant of his final smash when fighting him. And last I checked, he did not single-handedly destroy the Smash community. The next fighter is someone I was actually moderately excited for. That's mostly because at the time, I was forcing myself to be a big Xenoblade Chronicles fanboy. Still haven't beaten the first one, but I've made significant progress on it. Pyra and Mithra are alright. I won a few online matches as them, while fighting nothing but Pyra and Mithras at the time. I just like it because they brought back the transforming mechanic that was missing in Smash 4 just for these two. They're fun, simple as that. Now, I've never played Tekken. I've seen the Tekken movie because me and my buddies needed something stupid to laugh at. I'm not particularly great at playing as him, but he gets points because the level 9 CPU Kazuya is a blast to fight against. Unfortunately, that I have more fun playing against Kazuya than I do playing as him. Maybe I should finally play Tekken so I can actually form an opinion on him, because that Tekken movie didn't do him any favors. And the final DLC fighter for Smash Bros. Ultimate is the greatest single legal accomplishment ever. So a little backstory. Smash 4 had a fighter ballot, where they allowed fans to vote for who they wanted in Smash the most. Sora won. Sakurai instead told everyone that Bayonetta won because it was obviously going to be a lot easier for them to get Sega to give them the legal rights to put her in the game, especially since Nintendo literally saved the Bayonetta series from death. But of course, once Smash Ultimate came out, Sakurai had a real chip on his shoulder, as he intended to make this game the biggest thing it could be as a tribute to Satoru Iwata. And well, the one thing that would make this game the biggest thing it could be would be to make a deal with Disney. Now, Nintendo's lawyers are scary, but Disney's lawyers are scarier. Knowing Disney's lawyers, they probably forced Miyamoto to publicly execute some of their lower-leveled employees. Someone had to die for this. Sora, protagonist of Kingdom Hearts in the greatest gaming crossover of all time. He's fine. That's fine. I'm not a Kingdom Hearts fan. I bought this collection of all games for like $15 when Walmart was really trying to get rid of all the copies of this game. I've been struggling to get through the first game, and the worst part is, the Kingdom Hearts community is so indecisive that I don't know if the first game is supposed to be one of the better games or one of the weaker games of the series, and I just can't do it. I have no attachment to Sora, except for the idea that Sakurai did the impossible and got him into the game for Iwata, and by golly, that's the most positive thing I can say about him. I mean, okay, fine. The height he gets from his double jump is pretty sweet. That's it. Okay, time to rank this shit. Min because who else would be so low? Kazuya because he's more fun to fight than to play as. Sora because I just don't have the heart to put him any higher. Pyra and Mithra because they're just neato. Steve because he brought forth the dark ages of competitive Smash, but he's still really cool to see in the game. And Sephiroth by default because I'm sure once I beat Final Fantasy VII, I'll like this guy more. Wow, I always thought I was pretty positive about the Smash Bros. DLC. It almost seems like I hate everything about this. Do I even like Smash Bros. At this point? But no, when I thought of this idea in my head, I thought, wow, I can't wait to talk about how cool Ryu is in Smash 4 for 15 minutes. And well, now, don't get me wrong, I'm not regretting purchasing the multiple DLC packs for the Smash, but after putting my thoughts into this, I can point out my nitpicks. Like, how cutting a character from Brawl just to turn around and say, hey, let's just sell this fucking guy back to those idiot Nintendo fans was a shitty idea. Or how using Min as an attempt to drum up interest in a game that had already been unjustly forgotten by Nintendo and its fans already, to following up big achievements and third-party characters being introduced in Smash with Fire Emblem characters that haven't yet proven to stand the test of time. I currently like the idea that I've been able to express myself this way, because every other time I've talked about Smash DLC, I'd say some shit like, oh yeah, Ryu is awesome. Why is he awesome? Well, I mean, have you ever played Street Fighter? I think one thing I can really take away from this whole experience is, if we're getting a Smash 6, and that's a pretty big if, I think DLC needs a little rework. Here's my plan. If we're getting another 10 fighters, make sure only 3 of them are third-party characters. Smash Ultimate made miracles happen by getting some of these characters in, but I have no doubt that the overabundance of third-party characters is helping dilute the excitement for when another great iconic Nintendo character gets into the game. You have all these people who began an entire movement about Waluigi not getting into Ultimate, but I guarantee you that if they reveal Smash 6 tomorrow and the very first newcomer they reveal is Waluigi, they're just gonna be an entire shitstorm of people saying, yeah, well, where's Crash and Spyro? Also, for getting third-party characters, put Master Chief in there. I'm not even a big Halo guy, but Master Chief joining Smash Brothers would be the best thing to happen to Halo in nearly 15 years. Come on, Nintendo and Microsoft, give the guy a break. The future of Smash Brothers is not looking great. Yeah, Smash Brothers makes the kind of money that Nintendo won't let it die with dignity and will instead keep it going forever. But with Sakurai potentially retiring, the fact that Smash Ultimate was a work of miracles that will most certainly never happen again, and the next game will no doubt cut most of the roster of this game, and we can almost guarantee that Sora will most definitely not be a part of Smash 6, that's for sure. Despite that, I'm still hyped to see where it goes from here. Who knows, maybe the classic characters from the first game will get moveset reworks. Hell, a new Princess Peach game just came out, so they could use that to remake Peach. The roster only keeps the best characters in the series. Dr. Mario, I love you, dude, but you're only better than the 4 guys who are legitimately awful to play as, but they get to stay because they can at least pack a punch. The obligatory Fire Emblem character will actually be a beloved character and not just the main character of the Fire Emblem game that'll be in development at the same time as the next Smash game. I shouldn't get my hopes up there. Even if Smash 6 was the greatest game ever that fulfilled the wishes of every Smash fan in the world, I guarantee you, they'd still make sure that they shove the 18th Marth clone in there that's the star of 2028's Fire Emblem game in this game.